Welcome to People and Profit, the show with the business stories you need to know. Coming up, big data drama after the Facebook scandal. What should change in how companies handle user information? Tracking the trade turmoil, we look at how emerging economies are standing up against Donald Trump's protectionist policies. And working out at work, the Swedish company that forces its employees to exercise during office hours. First up, though, the battle over big data. Facebook is at the centre of a political firestorm after information on millions of users got into the hands of a political research firm. The scandal has highlighted how digital giants like social networks use our personal data and behaviour online to make money through targeted advertising and more. In a moment, we'll be discussing best practice for these companies. But first, Anke Ulla has been looking back at the story that sparked this debate.
Cambridge Analytica is the British data firm at the heart of the Facebook privacy scandal. It's accused of having accessed data from millions of Facebook users through a third-party app. Called This Is My Digital Life, it was built in 2014 by Russian-American researcher and professor Alexander Kogan, and it functioned like a personality test. 270,000 Facebook users took the test, but a loophole in Facebook's rules let the app harvest information even from the friends of people who took the quiz. All this without the user's consent. Facebook says it gave permission to Kogan to harvest data from users who downloaded his app, but that it prohibited selling and sharing that data. Kogan's company, Global Science Research, shared it anyway, with Cambridge Analytica. According to whistleblower Christopher Wiley, a former contractor for the company, Cambridge Analytica used the data to build a system that could target U.S. voters with personalized political advertisements in the run-up to the 2016 presidential election. He says he knows this because he's the one who built the algorithm. For Facebook, the scandal highlights a larger debate over how much users can trust the company with their data. The social media giant has known about the data breach since at least 2015, but only suspended Cambridge Analytica and Kogan in early March of this year. Former Facebook employees say that similar apps could have accessed millions of other users' data.
Well, to discuss this further, I'm joined in studio by Sylvestre Ledru, who's the head of Mozilla here in France, which is an organisation that lobbies for internet freedom, but also for privacy online. Thank you for coming to speak to us.
You're welcome.
Should we have known better with Facebook? Should we have seen this coming?
So Mozilla has always been fighting for transparency and openness online. So Mozilla is driven by a manifesto. So we have been fighting for open web and open innovation and open technology for a while. So for us, internet is really a global public resource. So we have been fighting for that. So we have been warning for a while about data protection, privacy, online privacy, these kind of things for a very long time. So we are not really surprised. What is really surprising to us is the scale, like 50 million people. It's huge, this number, like people, the number of people who got their data taken by this company. So the scale is really surprising. But at the end, what they are doing with that is not really a surprise.
There is, you know, this is a very specific case, but there is a whole other debate about how we as internet users should be more careful online. Do you think people's behaviour will change as a result of the Facebook scandal?
I'm sure that the behaviour is going to change. Now, what big companies should also do is being more transparent. Like the first thing they should say is what they are going to do with those data, what kind of data they collect about you, and then how they are going to share it with other companies. Like, I'd like to know Facebook is sharing a bunch of my data. I'd like to know what they share. Are they sharing the pictures, the log of my chat with my friends? I'd like to know that. And I'd like to know which company gets this data and what they are going to use it for.
And we've had Facebook announce some changes to how they deal with privacy and data. They're going to let people review and delete things that they have stored. Is that a step in the right direction?
It is, but I think they should go further. Like, for example, they should disable by default the behavior of selling my data to third-party companies. I think that should be a decision that I should make on my own. Facebook should not do the decision for me. So I think they should be more careful in what they do by default. They should change the default preset.
Now, Mozilla, of course, also has the open source browser Firefox. From your point of view, how do you handle the big data that you collect from your users?
So I can talk about that because I have been myself developing on Firefox. So I know how it is working, and we are very careful with the data. So we have 4 levels. So we have sensitive data. So for example, in some cases, we store the URLs that you use. And this data is only restricted to a few people. and we are not able to get back to you. So for example, if you have a crash on Firefox and I have the information of the website you were browsing, I'm not able to get back to you. So I will have only a limited amount of information.
So you can't trace that information back to the user?
I cannot even tell you in which country you were. So I have no information about you. I have all the technical information that I need to fix the issue. We are also gathering some data to improve the quality of our product. Again, everything is anonymous, so I have no way to know who uses Firefox and what for, but I know if your Firefox can be slow in some configuration. So it's only to improve the quality of our product.
In how we all work online, this sort of data is an essential part of how businesses like Facebook, like Google, like others provide their services to us for free.
Yeah.
Where should the line be drawn between what companies can do with that data to balance making profits and providing us with those services?
Sure. So we are not against collecting data. We think it is a good business model. What we think is really transparency and what they are going to do with the data. So here in that scandal, Facebook probably went too far, so they need to review and to explain what went wrong and what they are planning to do to fix it. But they really should be more transparent to improve the confidence in the web. So we are also afraid that this story is going to hurt the confidence of the public into internet.
Okay, Sylvestre Ledru from Mozilla here in France, thank you very much for speaking to us. Now, trade tensions have been causing ripples across global stock markets as investors worry that tariffs and retaliatory sanctions could hurt economic growth. Under Donald Trump, the US has also made moves to withdraw from or renegotiate major trade agreements. But while the world's largest economies are embroiled in a trade spat, emerging economies are forging their own deals. Kate Moody's been speaking about this to the head of the International Trade Center, Arantxa Gonzalez.
After many years of being told that opening markets and integrating regionally and reforming at home was good, they are now convinced that this is the right way to go. As some countries are doubting on the value of international trade, on the value of solidarity, on the value of pooling sovereignty, some other parts of the world are going exactly in the opposite direction.
And Kate's here with me now. Kate, you've been looking at how some countries are reaffirming their commitment to free trade.
Absolutely. In the midst of this global trade turmoil, more than 40 African governments signed on to a continental free trade area. The participants aim to cut trade tariffs on 90% of goods and improve other areas, including infrastructure and border checks. They hope to boost intra-African trade, which amounted to $170 billion last year, only about 15% of the continent's total trade activity. Africa's largest economies, Nigeria and South Africa, have yet to sign up, but businesses say they're already more likely to invest in a region with fewer barriers.
If you increase trade, you increase the GDP of the countries, you increase the jobs in the country, more opportunities for people to open factories, more opportunities for people to want to invest in Africa.
There's similar optimism on the other side of the globe. 11 countries pushed ahead with a new version of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, revamped after the Trump administration pulled America's participation. The deal now covers 13% of the world's GDP, rather than 40% with the U.S., and is hoping to attract new potential members. Smaller regional groups are also trying to leave their mark. In South America, the Mercosur trade bloc has been active for more than 2 decades and is negotiating new ties with Canada, South Korea, and the European Union. The 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations are trying to broker new deals with neighbors, including India, China, and Australia. But the pace of deal-making is slowing down. The number of new trade agreements on goods and services gathered steam at the turn of the century. Now, economies are trying to forge larger, more complicated deals. According to the World Trade Organization, more than 280 regional trade agreements are in force around the world. Stephen?
Kate, thank you very much for that. Now, how would you react to being told you have to exercise during your working hours? We know that a bit of sport is good for the mind and the body, but one employer in Sweden is going further than offering discount gym memberships and making it mandatory to get active.
Going to the gym or to a yoga class on your lunch break is widespread in Sweden. Almost 70% of Swedes exercise at least once a week. Some employers are now pushing this practice to the extreme and making exercise on the job mandatory, such as clothing company Bjorn Borg.
If you want everybody to feel better, to perform better, and create long-term sustainable results, then everybody needs to exercise.
Several studies show that doing exercise during your workday benefits both employees and employers, with better profitability, team building and less sick leave.
It's really great, a super initiative. It's fun to work out and to be able to fit it into your day.
In Sweden, staying in shape is seen as every person's responsibility to society. Those who don't take care of themselves risk being mocked or stigmatized.
Den viktiga delen. Inte att få fler personer att gå med på den här kulturen.
The important thing is not to get more people to join this movement and accept it, but rather to find ways to stand up to this kind of culture, to dare to question it and find alternatives where you can do things together and have a workplace that is not characterized by this very vehement idea that everyone has to exercise.
Av en sån här väldigt hetsig idé om att alla måste träna.
But exercise on the job is also becoming a recruiting tool. Some big companies try to attract top new talent by subsidizing their sporting activities, such as golf and water aerobics.
Well, we'd love to hear your views on that story. How would you like it if your boss told you you had to do some exercise? You can get in touch with us on Facebook at France 24 Business, or you can tweet me at NewStephen. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Here at France 24, we're taking a broad outlook by talking about the women who are reshaping our world.
En France 24 en español no tenemos temas vedados. Y eso se puede ver en televisión y en todas las plataformas que tenemos en Internet.
في فرانس 24 لا ننسى ونحجز لكم أسبوعياً تذكرة عودة للمدن والمناطق التي كانت في قلب الأحداث قبل أن تدخل في طي النسيان.
France 24, c'est la recherche permanente des meilleurs spécialistes pour vous permettre de déchiffrer l'actualité.
Claro que tiene algo especial, somos todos de distintos países y trabajamos con todo el corazón para entregar información en el momento preciso.
أخبار سياسية واقتصادية وثقافية وأيضاً رياضية بأعين خبراء رياضيين. هذه هي قناة France 24.